Now look, white supremacy is real, y'all.
Say that. Say that.
I'm gonna say that one more time.
Say that.
Because in case the city of Chicago don't know, you got a black mayor with a black wife, black children on the west side of Chicago. And all of these other administrations that shut down our schools, that shut down public housing, that raided the pensions, that sold off the parking meter, that sold off the Skyway. Those people ran this city to the ground, and now they expect a brother to fix it in a year. Well, guess what? We're off to a great start, and I look forward to fixing they mess, building up our communities for the next 23 freaking years. God bless you, Chicago. Southside.
I've heard that there's this claim that somehow having $18 million that we would secure from the community safety surcharge to go back into smaller businesses and particularly black-owned businesses is some sort of nefarious operation. That's their claim. They are immoral, they are wicked, and it's well past time that the people of Chicago actually know and see who these individuals are. Know who they are. They do not mean us well.
What's up, y'all? Gerald here, creator of Gospel Chops and your host for this YouTube channel, back with another video. Now, y'all, we got to spend a few moments today talking about Mayor Conehead once again. That's right, Brandon Johnson of Chicago is back in the media once again because he is being sued for his overt racism in the city of Chicago. And I know y'all, some of y'all don't understand where I'm coming from with this, and you're saying, well, how can Chicago be racist? How can the mayor be racist? Well, y'all, he seems to be implementing policies in that city that are favoring certain races over other races. And y'all, that is the basis of a civil rights suit that has been filed against the city of Chicago and this mayor and his foolishness. But every time I look at Chicago, it seems to me, y'all, and I know this mayor wants to stand up for the blackity blacks, wants to make a case that if we just pour more taxpayer dollars into black communities, it's going to make a difference. But every time I look at your city, a city which I love, by the way, every time I look at Chicago, y'all can't light a Christmas tree. Y'all can't have a parade. Y'all can't turn the river green without the blackity blacks coming out and cutting up in your city. Seem like you got a blackity black culture problem in the city of Chicago. Now, I know there's other issues going on. I'm not blind to the fact. But every time I turn on my news and they talk about Chicago, it seems like the blackity blacks are just cutting up and killing each other. Y'all talk about the crime rate. Y'all talk about the murder rate. It's the blackity blacks killing the blackity blacks. So, Mayor, what are you doing about that? Little to nothing. He's implementing policies where he say, we're going to be soft on crime. We're not going to lock them up. We're going to let them out. And what do? They commit more crime. We're going to evict white business owners and put the thumb of the city down on the whitey whites in order to bring some relief to the blackity blacks and put blackity black business owners in the place of whitey white business owners. What are you doing, sir, ma'am? Seems like you are making the problem worse and not better. Seems like you are making the city worse and not better.
Our way will bring to black residents in reclaiming ownership of our own communities. That is the spirit of Juneteenth, you all. It is about reflecting on our past. Other cultures are taught to never forget. We need to be reminded as blacks here in Chicago and America, remembering our past and working towards a more just future. Investing in black is not a criminal act.
Real Chicagoans woke up this morning relieved that the Department of Justice is finally investigating your race hustle. As someone who grew up on the south side of Chicago, I've heard a lot of race hustlers in my life, trust me, but they were usually marching around outside of City Hall, which is what makes this so embarrassing and dangerous. Very, very dangerous to the city of Chicago.
Okay, we need the question.
I'm more than happy to ask this question. It's long overdue. For over a year, real Chicagoans, white and black, have been telling me that your black power rhetoric is bringing the city backwards from a place that
we need the question.
Had overcome. You want the question?
Please.
Real Chicagoans want to know, why are you a racist?
Well, first of all, I reject the idea and the premise that somehow that's an actual legitimate question.
Want to bet?
All right, we're going to go to the next one. Alice?
The next question, my follow-up question is a businessman, Robert Gomez, had his riverfront restaurant license yanked. You said that the reason you hire black people is because they're the most generous race on the planet. His riverfront restaurant license was yanked and given to a black restaurateur. That has, once again, reinforced the belief among real Chicagoans, white and black and Mexican, that you are a racist. What do you say to those people?
Again, I reject the premise that somehow that your question has any legitimacy. Thank you for your time.
Now, shout out to organizations like Chicago Flips Red and others that are pounding the pavement, got boots on the ground, trying to make real change in real communities around Chicago. There are proven methods to fix the problems in that city, but this Mayor Conehead don't seem to want to fix it. He's not implementing the policies that have been proven to work. You got detriments in society, detriments in the community. Get them out. Rid them so that grannies can walk down the street and get their medicine without fear of being robbed in the street. So that kids can watch cartoons in their living room without fear of bullets coming through the window and hitting them in their own residence. There are policies that can be put in place in that city to fix 90% of the problems in the hood in Chicago. The other 10%, you ain't gonna fix at all. So that's what the police are for. That's what the aldermen are for. Y'all work on those problems, but you can come down with a harder hammer in the hood. Instead of saying we need to be softer on crime, we need to provide relief to the criminals that are terrorizing neighborhoods. No, that's not the answer, sir. What are you doing? And then you want to say, you want to stand up before the people and say, oh, well, they expect a blackity black mayor to fix it in a year? No, sir. There was a blackity black mayor before you and you stepped into her shoes. Matter of fact, they thought you were going to make the problems better in the city, and it seems like you've made the problems worse than Beetlejuice.
Now to a popular Chicago music venue and Riverwalk spot, now suing the city of Chicago and Mayor Johnson's administration, alleging race-based discrimination.
The venue's owner says the city took away his license to operate on the Riverwalk because of his race. Political reporter Paris Schutz joining us with the latest on this story.
Certainly, Sylvia and Terrence, a very sensitive situation and topic. The Beat Kitchen operated on the Riverwalk for 3 years. The venue's owner, Robert Gomez, says he turned a profit, generating $3 million a year in annual sales.
But Gomez says the city chose not to renew his license to operate there, even though he says he was, per city rules, the most qualified vendor and the only one to get a full application in on time. Now he is filing a federal civil rights lawsuit alleging the city revoked his license because of his race, instead tilting the scales to encourage and favor a black-owned business to take his place. The lawsuit alleges that it violates both city ordinance and federal law. In the lawsuit, he claims, quote, as a minority-owned business, Beat Kitchen supports the city's stated commitment to equity grounded in transparency, consistent rules, and lawful process. That is genuine equity. What Beat Kitchen cannot support and what federal and state law forbid but took place is the substitution of race-influenced directives and considerations for the rule-based evaluation required by law. And the lawsuit goes on to claim the panel of city officials that award Riverwalk licenses, quote, privately invited and accepted a late and deficient proposal from the race-favored vendor, altered and manipulated mandatory evaluation criteria, and applied undisclosed racial considerations that advantaged the privately invited vendor. Gomez says he followed all of the rules, only to see the city punish his business.
It's crushing. I mean, I have two music venues. The music industry has really struggled since COVID. Support for all of that, help the name of the brand out there. And more importantly, I put in over the 4 years $600,000 into that.
Now, the Beat Kitchen space was replaced with another local company, a popular Southside restaurant called Hare's Gulf Shrimp. The lawsuit is seeking to declare that license void and asking for financial damages due to lost revenue. Should clarify that new restaurant is not a party on this, and there is no alleged wrongdoing on them, only on the city's part. Now, a spokesperson for Chicago's Fleet and Facility Management Department, it's the agency that oversees the Riverwalk, said they don't comment on pending litigation. They did acknowledge back in April that they chose to go with another vendor in that spot. In May, the Trump Justice Department announced they were investigating racial discrimination or alleged racial discrimination in the Johnson administration after comments the mayor made that the DOJ interpreted as basing jobs and hiring on race qualifications. Now, Gomez will speak exclusively with us on the Chicago Report tonight at 10 p.m.
And there you have it, y'all. After just a short time in office, Mayor Brandon Johnson seems to be fighting for his political life in the city of Chicago. Maybe, just maybe, his mayoral time is on life support because the taxpayers of Chicago seem to have had enough, and as he continues to raise their taxes, they are continuing to be more and more agitated, more and more aggravated with the city. How long will they stand for it? How long will they take it? Well, you see, one business owner here ain't standing for it. He's saying, I'm suing you, Mr. Mayor, for your racist policies. All I wanted to do was run my business, and y'all wouldn't renew my license? Because I ain't the right color? Yeah, seems like a little reverse racism. This dude filed this lawsuit and did his own reverse Uno trick on you. Mayor Johnson, draw 4. Because we got a problem here in the city, and you're going to have to deal with it in the courts now. This is what you have wrought upon the city of Chicago. And if this dude wins, and if he wins big, well, who gonna be left to pay for it? Once again, the taxpayers. Seemed like a lose-lose situation to me. Well, you got a lose-lose mayor. And if you keep voting for it, you're gonna keep getting it. First it was Beetlejuice, and y'all thought Brandon Johnson was gonna be better. He is exponentially worse, in my humble opinion. Y'all let me know what you think about this. I would love to know your thoughts about the mayor of Chicago and what is going on in that once illustrious city. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video so we can get more people involved in the conversation, y'all. And like I always say, always remember and never forget, without the gospel, it's just chops. Until next time, peace.